Welcome to the MCX Energy Conclave 2024, where innovation meets opportunity in the realm of energy. Let me invite Ms. Ruchi Shukla, Head Energy MCX, to give a brief introduction to this conclave.
Recently, World Book Day was celebrated on 23rd April. Books, for all of us gathered here, have always been the source of knowledge and discovery. And conclaves in this era of tech are no less insightful, especially when we have a lineup of esteemed panelists and industry leaders. As we navigate increasingly towards a volatile energy prices management becomes not merely a prudent financial practice, but it becomes a strategic imperative for the companies or the businesses that are operating in today's economic energy landscape.
May I now request our guests on the stage to proceed for the lamp lighting ceremony.
MCX is predominantly at this point in time is an energy exchange because we have crude, natural gas. These are the dominant contracts which are driving our company's growth. In this journey, the regulator has helped and stood behind us rock solid. We have also recently migrated to a new tech platform. Again, there it's like changing the engine of a flight when it's flying at 30,000 feet, and that we did it successfully. And credit goes to the board and the SEBI, our regulator, and the members at large. In this conference, we have experts from CME who will be joining on VC, and industry experts from India as well as abroad.
Heartiest welcome to all of you, and in particular to the Honorable Chief Guest, Ananth Narayan G. He brings academic knowledge, that analytical mind, what lies behind the regulations with deep understanding of the same. Madam, you have been also a professor, and it'll be enlightening to listen to all the academics. We have recently launched many contracts for the gas, natural gas, and the crude oil, which have been appreciated by the market. The requirements of the value chain players, especially MSME players who need to hedge against volatility in prices for energy products is important, and we should bring in more and more products with the approval of SEBI, which fulfills the stakeholders' requirements.
The first thing which strikes me is that as a space, commodities has a long way to go in India. The government has in fact expanded the list of commodities which are under SCRA for trading on derivatives. It's gone over 100 now. Progressively, we've seen new categories of participants being allowed, from financial institutions to PMSs to AIFs, alternate investment funds, to mutual funds, to foreign portfolio investors. We have producers of commodities here. We have wholesale consumers of commodities. And each one of us as individuals have so much of exposure to commodities which we don't seem to acknowledge. So purely from an asset allocation perspective, as an investor, as a small investor, it makes sense to have some exposures to commodities. What I like about conclaves like this is that this is one step in that direction to try and ensure that commodities gets its place in the sun. I see three roles for SEBI as a regulator on any of the areas that it touches. The first is to ensure that there are no type 1 errors, which is bad things should not happen in the market. The second, of course, corollary to the type 1 error is the type 2 error, where in our zeal to prevent bad things from happening, we can come up with a regulatory ecosystem that is so onerous that it comes in the way of good people doing their good job. Finally, there is also a third role for the regulator, which is how do you foster good things happening? Rather than focusing on the errors that we can do, what are the good things that we can do to expand the markets? The first request I have to market participants on this issue of bad things happening is this is too important a job of prevention of bad things to be left to the regulator alone. What we require, therefore, is for you to take this upon yourself as your responsibility as equally as the regulator. The second part, so we do try and do as much of consultation, both formally and informally, as possible. So we have something called the CDAC, the Commodity Derivatives Advisory Committee, which is a very high-powered committee. Many of the members are here, which we actually consult for any policy change relating to commodity derivatives. Anything that we do for any area, including commodities, we ensure that there is public consultation as well. And finally, we have something called Standards Forum, which has been started over the last 1 year. We have a standards forum for brokers. We have a standards forum for market infrastructure institutions, where the industry decides how are you best going to implement the regulatory principles, what are your do's and don'ts, of course in consultation with us. We take the feedback from you and set standards in consultation with you. I like these conferences because you actually get together the stakeholders of academia, practitioners, regulators, the entire ecosystem, market participants, public, where we talk to each other rather than beyond each other or above each other. We are very, very happy to get recommendations and thoughts on how do we foster this ecosystem which has so much of promise. So I'm glad once again that MCX has taken this lead in putting together this conclave. We do need forum like this where all of us can sit together and exchange ideas. I repeat, if we go through the process of ensuring that bad things don't happen and that we foster good things, which has to be done collectively, we will build trust in the ecosystem. And a trusted ecosystem is the surest and the best recipe you have for a sustained growth.
It's inspiring to witness the Indian power market's growth. With power exchanges have seen a commendable growth of 29% annual growth in electricity transactions, which earlier used to be around 6%, with the wholesale electricity market reaching a new level of maturity. We discuss and deliberate the need for introduction of financial derivatives in the electricity sector to provide hedging opportunities amidst the increasing market complexities and price volatilities. The Honorable Supreme Court of India's ruling on October 6, 2021 has clarified the introduction of contracts, and it delineated CERC's regulation of physical delivery contracts and SEBI's oversight of financial contracts. In accordance with the Supreme Court's directives, a joint working group with SEBI and CERC is shaping the financial derivatives market. The diverse array of contracts and products offered by the power exchanges are pivotal in enhancing the market's appeal to suppliers, aiding the government's pursuit of energy security. Derivatives play a crucial role in risk management and also act as predictors for market expectations and price trends. So as the joint working group deliberates on the design of these products and regulatory framework for their implementation, the importance of a robust monitoring and surveillance mechanism cannot be overstated.